Now, WLOX presents the Friday Night Football Showdown Halftime Update.
Proudly sponsored by B&Bell Orthopedic Specialists and Pawpaw's Campers and Cars.
And hello everybody, welcome into the Friday Night Football Showdown Halftime Update. I am your host, Dylan Jones, and tonight, week 7 of high school football action here along the Gulf Coast. And now we will take you over to our website at WLOX.com, where you can check out all of the latest updates from high school football games here on the coast, and I'll give you a quick guide on how to get there if you'd like to get there yourself. You can also do this on our mobile app as well. If you will navigate your way over to WLOX.com, find the hamburger menu, find the sports tab here, click the arrow, and then from there you'll be able to go to the scoreboard and get all of the latest happenings around the high school football universe on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Now, so far we have a few games in halftime already. We also have a few games nearing halftime, still getting to that point. I believe we have updates for every game except one, and we also have a game that's already been played, and we'll make sure to get you the updates and highlights on that as well. So without any further ado, we do start things off in Hancock County, where the 1-5 Hawks host the 4-1 West Harrison Hurricanes. Now, the Hawks have been stuck in a rut most of the season, dropping their last 4, 2 of them coming in overtime. Don't like to see that. However, on the flip side, the Canes have won their last 4 games, tying their best start to a season ever, which was just last year. With that being said, in their last 7 meetings, the Canes have won just 1 win over Hancock coming in 2011. So to start this one off, both teams go scoreless through the first frame, but in the second, it's Hancock scoring on a halfback pass for a 22-yard touchdown to go up 7-0. They trade scores then. Going into halftime, Hancock leads it 14-7. So now we head to Picayune, where the 4-2 Maroon Tide are rolling after a close win over Petal. They faced the Pascagoula Panthers, who were fresh off a bye, and a convincing win over Biloxi the week before. The Tide hope to extend a 19-game win streak in district games. As for the Panthers, they look to avenge themselves after losing to Picayune twice last year, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. So, really back and forth here through these first 2 frames. Pascagoula, they do lead it here at halftime, 21-14. A lot of big plays. We've seen Silas Cordair get a few through the air. We've also seen Darrell Smith, only running back on the coast with over 1,000 rushing yards. He's been stellar in this one. He has a touchdown himself. So really shaping up to be very interesting into this one. So now we look to Long Beach, and the Bearcats, they fell in overtime last week to South Jones. They hope to bounce back this week against George County, but it will not be easy, as you can see. So the Rebels have defeated Long Beach 24 straight times, with the Bearcats' last win coming in 1974. The team has also lost 35 straight district games, so that's a really long stretch of not winning, and I'm sure if you're a Bearcats fan or player, that is something that you want to change right now. So this one does stay close after one. George County leads Long Beach 14-13 heading into the second quarter. However, Long Beach not able to keep it going. Therefore, George County, they do lead it 35-13 at halftime. Meanwhile, the PRC Blue Devils are hitting the road to take on the Jim Hill Patriots in Jackson. Both teams enter tonight 1-4 on the year. PRC busting a 17-game losing streak last week against Bay, and Jim Hill's only win coming in week 2 against winless Vicksburg. A win tonight for either team could very well determine who grabs that number 4 seed for 6A Region 3 come playoff time. So, Corday Russell has 2 scores in this one, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. Forest Hill, just before I got on here, I was trying to wait until this game got into halftime. Only had seconds left. They had a big pass to get down into field goal position. Forest Hill did. I apologize. No, Jim Hill. Jim Hill. We need to fix that. It's Jim Hill. Jim Hill, not kicking game isn't too great, so that's still something that they're kind of trying to work out a little bit. But nonetheless, this one, if it's not in halftime already, there has to be seconds left. So PRC, they do lead it 14-8 as of right now. So now we will come back home, and we will head to Jackson County, where the Van Cleve Bulldogs are back at home after winning their last 3. They have their hands full tonight with the 1-loss Gaucher Gators, who picked up a 1-point win over Columbia last week. Van Cleve's last win against Gaucher comes in 2010 with the Gators winning the last 11 matchups between the two teams. Gaucher takes the only score of the first quarter with a short touchdown run by Trey Irving. That brings it to a 7-0 lead going into the second. The two teams then trade scores. One of those, also another Trey Irving rushing touchdown. So 28-7, Gaucher does have a very sizable lead there at halftime. Now, we head to Waynesboro, where the East Central Hornets are paying a visit to the Wayne County War Eagles. Both teams entered the night with one win. When these teams met last year, Wayne County took a 37-14 victory. They do lead it currently. Our last update has them leading it 12-7. Next game coming up, we stay in the Pine Belt. The Stone Tomcats enjoyed a shutout win over St. Stanislaus last week. This week, they look to do something that they've never done before and defeat Laurel. So, if you look at the record that Laurel has, you will see that they are currently 1-5. Do not let that fool you. Last year, they came into district play. They also had a 1-5 record at that time. They went on to go all the way to state. Okay, 5A state championship. They ended up losing to West Point. However, you can't take that away from them for sure. That's a lot of wins in a row that they had. They look fantastic. So, am I saying that they could do the same thing this year? I'm not trying to guarantee anything. However, I'm saying this is not a team that you can sleep on. It is tied right now, 14-14 in the second quarter. So we'll see if we can get that updated as soon as possible. Now, we will head to 4A to take a look at Poplarville, where the back-to-back district champ Hornets face the Pass Christian Pirates. The Hornets bounced back last week, starting off region play with a win over Moss Point. As for Pirates, they fell to Greene County and now hope to bust a 9-game losing streak against Poplarville. So Jeremiah Moss, it's him who snags the opening score from 53 yards out to give Poplarville the early lead. The Pirates answer with a score of their own, but the PAT is blocked. The Hornets score once more before the end of the half, bringing the score to 14-6. So, not a whole lot of scoring so far in this one. I think that's kind of a trend that we're seeing in a few of these games. If there's any of them that could shape up to be interesting, I certainly feel like this is one of the ones. Pass Christian and Poplarville here of recent years, I feel like they played each other pretty close. So something to keep an eye on there, certainly. So next up, you'll see that this score, we currently have 0-0. We have yet to get an update on this. If you have an update, feel free to drop those in the comment section down below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can shoot us an email as well. So with that being said, though, we will stay in the region. We will head to Bay St. Louis, where it is a cat fight. The one-loss Bay Tigers host the winless Moss Point Tigers. Tonight's game could have major playoff implications later on, determining who grabs the final playoff spot out of this region. Now, there's a lot to work out. There's a lot of hypotheticals going into this per se. However, with that being said, you got a one-win team. You got a team with no wins. So, pretty big game here tonight, especially in a division where there's only 5 teams. 4 of those teams make it into the playoffs. So last year it was Bay who defeated Moss Point. It was the first time they had done so in over a century. They would go on to the playoffs. Moss Point was bounced. So once again, if you do have an update for this score, feel free to drop that in the comments below. We'll make sure to get that updated as soon as possible. Now we take a look at our 3A teams, starting off with the St. Stanislaus Rockachaws as they visit the Tylertown Chiefs. The Rocks are looking to go back-to-back after winning the district last year. They also took a win over Tylertown in 2023, the first ever meeting between the two teams. That certainly does not look to be the case right now. Tylertown absolutely running away with it, 36-7, our last update in the second quarter. As for the St. Patrick Fighting Irish, they've been a bit down on their luck this season, to say the least. They've lost their last 11 games, and they're tasked with winning their first district game since 2014. Yes, that is correct. It has been 10 years. 10 years since St. Patrick has won a district game. They take on the West Marion Eagles. The teams have played 10 times before. West Marion took the last 9. I apologize. Took the last 9 meetings, and right now in the lead as of first quarter, 20-7. So stay tuned for an update on that one as well. Now we check in with our lone 1A team. We visit the 3-3 Resurrection Eagles as they host the 4-2 Enterprise Yellow Jackets. Like St. Stanislaus, Resurrection is also looking to go back-to-back in district after winning last year. For Enterprise, they look for their first district title since forming in 1964. They're off to a rough start after losing to Lumberton last week. Enterprise, however, they do lead this game 26-15 at halftime. So if you'll see the final score here, we'll loop back around to that one because I have a few highlights for you that will, obviously you can see there, Gulfport takes the victory over 21-7. We'll kick it over to Blake Brannon for those highlights. Over in D'Iberville, the Warriors showed flashes in a nice win against Wayne County last week. They see the Ocean Springs Greyhounds, who have shockingly just have one win entering district play. Luckily for the Greyhounds, they have won their last 3 contests against the Warriors. Could that be a sign of things to come? It is D'Iberville who scores the first touchdown of the game, followed by a Will Smith 4-yard touchdown run paired with a missed PAT to bring the score to 7-6. In the second quarter, the Greyhounds would make up for that missed PAT after another score with a 2-point conversion. They follow it up with a long touchdown pass on a 3rd and 13. As you can see there, Ocean Springs leads it currently 24-7 at halftime. Now we finish off with Harrison Central with a 1-4 Red Raiders. Hope to bust a 3-game losing streak against the St. Martin Yellow Jackets, who were coming off a bye week. The Yellow Jackets are 3-2 so far this year, but as they enter district play, it is worth noting they've lost their last 17 district games. They look to change the tide tonight. St. Martin gets their only touchdown of the first quarter. The Red Raiders get on the board for the first time in the second via a field goal. And at halftime, St. Martin leads it 7-3. Now what we want to do is we want to bring you those highlights of last night's contest between Biloxi and Gulfport. We'll show you a segment from last night by our very own Blake Brannon, who gives you the latest there.
For the NFL and college this time, we have a little high school Thursday night special right down the road as Gulfport squares off with Biloxi for the first region action of the year in 7A. Neither side scored a touchdown their last time out, and they both had a bye week last week, so you have to go all the way back to September 20th for the last time these teams found the end zone. Biloxi defense showing up early, though. Willie Polk Jr. sacks Dane Sullivan to force a Gulfport punt, and on the ensuing drive just a little bit later, Biloxi quarterback Wyatt Pyron and the offense trying to break the touchdown drought connects with Tristan Haynes there in the corner. Extra point gives Biloxi a 7-0 lead. The Admirals trying to answer in the second quarter now. Sullivan moving out of the pocket. Jalen Anderson picks it off at the goal line, brings it back across the 20. Biloxi took that 7-0 lead into the halftime break. Into the third quarter now. Pyron trying to move the Indians down the field, picked off by Pierre Fielder. Little tip drill. Admirals get that much needed turnover. Next Gulfport possession, Sullivan throwing it into double coverage. Christian Burks, though, somehow comes down with it and finds his way into the end zone. Extra point ties the game up at 7. A little bit later, Gulfport looking to take the lead. DeCorion Payton bulldozes his way in the end zone, gives the Admirals a 7-point lead. Moving ahead into the fourth now, Biloxi trying to drive down the field and answer. William Lai puts the ball on the ground and Pierre Fielder would recover. Cooper Crosby going to take advantage of the short field and scores to put this one on ice as Gulfport downs Biloxi 21-7.
And that will do it for us here tonight. If you want the latest updates from any of these games, make sure to head over to WLOX.com or check out our mobile app as well. Also, do not forget to tune in to WLOX on ABC and CBS for all of our final scores and highlights at 10:15 tonight. I am your host, Dylan Jones, here from the WLOX Newsroom. Thank you, and see you later.